Tomorrow, the Moon is expected to receive a brand new crater. Not from an asteroid, not from a secret military experiment, from a discarded SpaceX rocket that has been drifting through space for more than a year. The rocket section is approximately 12 meters long, weighs around 4,500 kilograms, and is traveling toward the Moon at roughly 8,700 kilometers per hour. Nobody is controlling it. Nobody can bring it home. And at approximately 6:35 UTC on August 5th, it is predicted to crash near Einstein Crater with the energy of around 3 tons of TNT. So how did an ordinary rocket launch turn into an accidental attack on the Moon? And could people on Earth actually watch it happen? The story began on January 15th, 2025. A SpaceX Falcon 9 launched 2 private lunar landers. One was Firefly Aerospace's Blue Ghost, which successfully landed on the Moon. The other was a Japanese lander from iSpace, which later crashed. The Falcon 9's upper stage had completed its main responsibility, giving those spacecraft enough speed to continue toward the Moon. But the upper stage itself could not return to Earth. It also was not directed into a permanent safe orbit around the Sun. Instead, it was left traveling through the complicated gravitational neighborhood shared by Earth and the Moon. This is where space stops behaving like the neat circular diagrams we see in school. Earth pulls on the rocket, the Moon pulls on the rocket. The Sun also interferes. A tiny difference in speed or direction can slowly produce a completely different path. For more than a year, the abandoned stage continued drifting. Now, according to orbital calculations, the Moon is finally standing directly in its way. And there are no brakes. The rocket is expected to hit the lunar surface at approximately 2.43 kilometers every second. For comparison, a passenger airplane travels at roughly 1/4 of a kilometer per second. This object will be moving nearly 10 times faster. But will it produce a Hollywood-sized explosion? Probably not. There is no enormous fuel tank waiting to explode. Most of the rocket's destructive energy comes from its speed. The impact is expected to release energy equivalent to roughly 3 tons of TNT. Researchers estimate it could create a crater around 27 meters wide and 5 meters deep. That is large enough to swallow a house, but much too small to see directly from Earth. The collision may also produce a flash lasting less than 1 second. Unfortunately, the impact site will be illuminated by sunlight. Trying to see a tiny flash against the bright lunar surface will be extremely difficult. The more promising sight could come immediately afterward. The impact may throw lunar dust and broken material several kilometers above the surface. Because the Moon has very weak gravity and no wind, that plume could remain observable through powerful telescopes for several minutes. If you enjoy unbelievable events that are genuinely happening, like and share this video. Subscribe to Kliqora and hit the bell, because by the time you watch this, the Moon may already have a new crater. Scientists are treating the collision as an accidental experiment. Normally, meteoroids hit the Moon without warning. Researchers rarely know their exact mass, speed, or direction beforehand. This time, they have a predicted impact time, an estimated speed, and a reasonably well-tracked object. That allows them to compare their models with what actually happens. NASA's Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter and South Korea's Danuri spacecraft are expected to collect before and after images of the area. Danuri may pass within only a few kilometers of the rocket, around 2 minutes before impact. Afterward, researchers can examine the crater and ask, how much material was thrown upward? How far did it travel? How closely did the real crater match their prediction? And could similar debris threaten future lunar equipment or people? This is not the first human-made object to crash into the Moon. During the Apollo era, NASA intentionally sent rocket stages and lunar modules into the surface. Instruments left by astronauts used the impacts to study the moon's interior. In 2009, NASA deliberately crashed the L-Cross mission near the lunar South Pole while searching for water ice. And in 2022, another abandoned rocket body accidentally struck the moon's far side, producing an unusual pair of craters. This SpaceX impact is not expected to damage a lander, astronaut, or lunar base. There are currently no people living close to Einstein Crater. The immediate danger is extremely small. The larger warning is about what happens next. More countries and companies are sending spacecraft toward the moon. Future missions could include scientific stations, communication satellites, mining equipment, and permanent human bases. Once lunar space becomes crowded, an uncontrolled 4-ton rocket stage will no longer be merely an interesting experiment. It could become a serious traffic problem. On Earth, abandoned vehicles do not continue traveling at thousands of kilometers per hour. In space, they do. The rocket could reportedly have been directed into an orbit around the Sun, where it would have been far less likely to hit the moon. That did not happen. So this collision raises a question humanity has not properly answered. After a private company completes a mission, who is responsible for the hardware it leaves behind? SpaceX? The company operating the lander? The country that authorized the launch? Or nobody at all? Tomorrow's impact will probably make a small crater on an already heavily cratered moon. The moon will be fine. But this may be an early preview of a much larger problem. Humans are preparing to live and work beyond Earth, while carrying one of our oldest habits with us. We leave things behind and assume somebody else will deal with them. Except this time, the rubbish is 4,500 kilograms, traveling 7 times faster than sound. And the moon is about to deal with it.